When people speak about the Mau Mau rebellion, one name often comes to mind, Dedan Kimathi. But hidden within the forests of Mount Kenya was another leader whose courage would become legendary. She carried weapons, led fighters, planned operations, and earned a rank that no other woman in the movement would ever achieve. Her name was Muthoni wa Kirima, and she became the only female field marshal in the Mau Mau movement. Muthoni was born in Nyeri during the colonial period. From a young age, she witnessed the inequalities that many Africans experienced under British rule. Land had been taken, communities were displaced, and opportunities were limited for many Kenyans. As the struggle for independence grew, Muthoni quietly joined the resistance. At first, she worked as a supporter. She carried messages, collected information, and helped deliver supplies to fighters hiding in the forest. But her life changed when colonial authorities began searching for her husband, who had joined the Mau Mau fighters. When officials came to her home, she denied knowing his whereabouts. According to her own accounts, she was beaten and severely mistreated during these searches. Years later, she would describe this moment as the turning point that convinced her to leave home and join the fighters in the forest herself. The decision was dangerous. The forests were cold. Food was scarce. British forces were conducting military operations. Many fighters lived constantly on the move, but Muthoni refused to turn back. She entered the forest alone. Eventually, she found the Mau Mau fighters. At first, she cooked, gathered supplies, and cared for wounded soldiers. Many women in the movement served these important roles, but Muthoni quickly proved that she could do much more. She showed remarkable courage. She learned to use weapons. She participated in operations, and she earned the respect of the men fighting beside her. Soon people began to notice something unusual. This woman feared nothing. Even experienced fighters admired her determination, and before long Muthoni wa Kirima was rising through the ranks. She was no longer simply a supporter, she was becoming a leader. Life in the forest was extremely difficult. Fighters faced hunger, disease, and constant danger. British patrols searched the forest day and night. Many fighters were captured, others were killed. But Muthoni continued. She helped organize supplies. She cared for injured soldiers. She gathered intelligence, and when necessary, she fought alongside the men. Her bravery became well known. According to fellow veterans, Muthoni showed little fear even during dangerous operations. Some described her as one of the bravest fighters they had ever met. Her leadership eventually earned her the rank of Field Marshal. To this day, she remains the only woman known to have reached that rank within the Mau Mau movement. She fought alongside leaders such as Dedan Kimathi and continued the struggle during some of the most difficult years of the uprising. But independence did not immediately bring comfort. Like many veterans, Muthoni struggled after the war. Former fighters often faced poverty and hardship. Some felt forgotten by the country they had helped liberate. For years, Muthoni lived a quiet life, yet she never abandoned her beliefs. She wore her long dreadlocks for decades as a symbol of the struggle and of promises she believed had not yet been fully achieved. Later in life, she explained that the hair represented her commitment to freedom and justice. As Kenya began to recognize its freedom fighters, Muthoni's story received renewed attention. Schools taught her history. Young women saw her as an inspiration, and many Kenyans finally learned about the woman who had fought beside the nation's greatest heroes. In September 2023, Field Marshal Muthoni wa Kirima passed away at the age of 92. Leaders across Kenya paid tribute to her courage and sacrifice. She had lived long enough to see the country she fought for become independent. She had seen generations grow up in freedom, and she had witnessed her own story finally being told. Muthoni wa Kirima never sought fame. She did not fight for titles. She fought because she believed her country deserved freedom, because she believed women could stand beside men, and because she refused to live in fear. Empires rise, wars end, generations pass, but courage survives. And more than 70 years after she entered the forest, the woman who refused to surrender still inspires Kenya. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Motion Tales for more untold histories, forgotten heroes, and extraordinary journeys through the past.